Florida's stunning shores, now a zone of high alert. What was once a haven for tourists and marine life is now under strict watch. Restrictions are tightening across Miami Beach, Fort Lauderdale, and now Miami-Dade County, with new limits on restaurants and visitor activity. But this isn't just about public policy. It's about an unsettling discovery that's shifting the focus from palm trees and sunshine to something far more ominous. Scientists have uncovered massive sinkholes beneath Florida's coastline, chambers so vast and unstable they could swallow entire buildings. This isn't your average geological curiosity. These deep-sea anomalies have triggered a wave of concern within scientific and national security circles. Entire sections of Florida's coastal waters have now been closed off by U.S. authorities after a series of high-priority reports from marine researchers raised alarms. These aren't coral reefs or exotic sea creatures. They're immense underwater voids, forming in patterns and at depths never before documented near American shores. And they appear to be growing. Before we dive deeper, make sure to like this video and subscribe for the latest updates on this unfolding mystery. The first signs came during a routine hydrographic survey conducted off the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic coastline. Initially thought to be harmless blue holes common to Florida's seafloor, further scans revealed something far more complex and unnatural. These were perfectly cylindrical, sharply defined sinkholes plunging deep below the seabed. Remote submersibles sent into the depths uncovered signs of rapid geological collapse, low-level seismic tremors, and strange acoustic echoes, suggesting ongoing movement beneath the Earth's crust. Even more shocking, these formations appeared almost overnight. Satellite images from just a year ago showed nothing out of the ordinary. Now, an expanding network of sinkholes is fanning out from a central location several miles offshore, some spanning over 1,000 feet in diameter and plunging more than 800 feet deep. Unlike typical land sinkholes caused by surface water erosion, these marine versions seem to be linked to freshwater channels, methane gas pockets, and potential destabilization of tectonic structures beneath Florida's continental shelf. The implications are staggering. If this network continues to grow or shift inland, it could compromise Florida's already fragile coastal bedrock, leading to infrastructure collapse, groundwater contamination, or even widespread subsidence across cities like Miami and Tampa. In response, the federal government has taken unprecedented steps. The U.S. Geological Survey, NOAA, and the Department of Homeland Security have coordinated a complete halt to marine traffic, offshore construction, and recreational activity in the affected regions. Even naval and cruise ship routes have been redirected. And that's not all. The Department of Defense has deployed advanced deep-sea monitoring equipment, an unusual move for a geological event, hinting at the possible national security implications of this evolving crisis. Southern Florida, built on porous limestone and barely above sea level, is highly sensitive to shifts in subsurface stability. These massive underwater voids could eventually destabilize the very ground beneath major population centers. Whether this signals a slow-moving natural disaster or something even more profound, one thing is clear. Florida's coastline is no longer just a postcard-perfect destination. It's become a geological puzzle demanding urgent answers. Let us know what you think in the comments. Could this be the start of something bigger? Are we witnessing nature's hidden forces rising to the surface? Stay tuned. This is a story that's only just beginning. What lies beneath? A marine crisis. Unfolding. What's happening below Florida's coastal waters is more than just a geological anomaly. It's an ecological unraveling in real time. These newly discovered underwater sinkholes aren't just hollow spaces in the seabed, they're active zones of disruption. From cold seeps and surging methane levels to strange temperature shifts, the changes around these formations are already shaking up local marine ecosystems. Fish that once thrived here are disappearing or migrating off course. Coral reefs in nearby zones are under visible stress, bleaching, dying off, and becoming overrun with unusual algae blooms. Even plankton species, known for their glowing bioluminescence, are behaving erratically, blinking out or shifting in unexpected ways. It's a clear signal. The ocean isn't just being carved out geologically, it's being destabilized at a biological level. What's making things even more complex is what's being found in the water itself. Samples taken near the sinkholes show a sharp rise in methane hydrates, crystalline compounds that remain stable only under very specific deep-sea conditions. If those conditions are disrupted, the hydrates could break down rapidly, releasing large amounts of methane gas. That kind of release could be catastrophic, boosting greenhouse gas levels, depleting oxygen in the water, and creating vast dead zones where marine life can't survive. In a worst-case scenario, a sudden methane eruption might even trigger underwater landslides or tsunamis, threatening undersea cables, offshore rigs, or even military submarine routes. And there's a deeper mystery. Some geologists believe these sinkholes may be the surface signs of something bigger, a hidden tectonic disturbance. Florida has never been considered earthquake territory, sitting far from the major fault lines, but new data is raising eyebrows. Seismic sensors have detected low, rumbling frequencies, patterns more commonly linked with subduction zones and volcanic arcs. If those findings hold true, Florida's geological status may need to be rewritten, reclassifying it from a geologically quiet region to one at risk of tectonic shifts. The economic fallout is already building. Florida's tourism industry, worth billions, is being hit hard. Cruise ships have cancelled routes. Diving and fishing charters are shutting down. Insurance companies are scrambling to revise coastal risk models, and real estate developers are starting to back away from beachfront projects. Major ports like Miami and Jacksonville are rerouting cargo, sending shockwaves through national supply chains. Energy companies operating in the Gulf have also hit pause. Offshore drilling and exploration are being reassessed, threatening delays in energy production and adding to concerns about national energy stability. There's another wrinkle. Some researchers worry that these deep sinkholes may act as natural vents, allowing ancient gases or even unknown life forms to reach modern ocean ecosystems. Samples from deep within the voids have revealed strange microbial life that thrives without oxygen, in conditions thought to be too extreme for survival. While some may be harmless curiosities, others could carry unpredictable risks, especially if they interact with existing species or human activity. Adding to the challenge is the nature of the sinkholes themselves. They're not static, some expand, others collapse, and some even merge, reshaping the seabed like moving puzzle pieces. When they collapse, they kick up vast plumes of sediment, disrupt water currents, and throw off navigation systems. Tracking them is a monumental task. Their behavior is hard to forecast, requiring a fusion of geology, oceanography, and fluid dynamics, disciplines that rarely intersect at this depth or scale. Researchers are racing against time. Deep-sea drones, AI simulations, and around-the-clock monitoring are being deployed, but one thing is clear. The ocean is speaking, and what it's saying may change everything we thought we knew about Florida's coast. Florida's ocean floor is speaking, and we're just beginning to listen. What's happening off the coast of Florida isn't just a local ocean disturbance, it may be the early signs of something much bigger. The seafloor, long thought to be quiet and unmoving, is proving to be anything but. The sudden appearance of massive sinkholes, deep, wide, and alarmingly close to vital infrastructure, has scientists and officials confronting a new reality. The ocean still holds secrets, and some of them may carry enormous consequences for the land above. While the general public remains in the dark, signs are beginning to emerge. Posts from local fishermen mention strange sonar glitches and powerful currents pulling their gear down unexpectedly. Marine conservation groups are tracking unusual behavior in dolphins and whales, as if these creatures sense something we can't. Meanwhile, the government's silence is deafening, but sightings of naval surveillance ships and NOAA vessels with blacked-out transponders suggest that federal agencies are preparing for a far more serious scenario than they're letting on. This isn't just an environmental issue anymore, it's become a question of national security and global ecological urgency. With every new scan and dive, the mystery deepens. These sinkholes are not isolated pits. Submersible drones have uncovered a network of deep fissures running like ancient arteries beneath the seafloor, some narrow, others stretching hundreds of feet across. What's most alarming is that these cracks are alive with activity. Thermal sensors show plumes of superheated fluids rising steadily, evidence of intense hydrothermal processes that shouldn't exist in this region at all. That discovery has shaken long-held geological assumptions. Florida sits on what's been considered a stable, ancient platform, far removed from tectonic hotspots or volcanic zones. But now, some researchers believe it may be resting on a hidden geothermal corridor, a pressurized region of heat and energy usually found only along deep ocean ridges or active fault lines. If that's true, the implications are massive. It would mean that the Earth beneath Florida is not dormant, but awakening. Inside the sinkholes, conditions are even more surreal. Cameras have captured swirling clouds of sulfur-rich gases thick enough to shroud visibility. Strange electromagnetic disturbances interfere with sensors, and gravitational readings don't add up. It's as if the usual rules of geology, of physics, are being rewritten in real time. This isn't just collapse, it's a chain reaction, a silent conversation between earth, water, heat, and gas, an underground system slowly shifting into motion. And no one can yet say where it's heading. What began as a precautionary shutdown of marine zones is now looking more like a carefully calculated response to a deep structural transformation of the ocean floor. And beneath Florida's waters, something vast, ancient, and unknown may be stirring, reshaping not only the coastlines, but the very story we tell about how the Earth behaves. The ocean, it seems, is not done surprising us. In fact, it may have only just begun. Beneath the surface, something is stirring in Florida's deep. During what was meant to be a routine dive, one remotely operated vehicle, ROV, vanished from all contact, no signal, no control, for over 13 minutes. When it finally resurfaced, it wasn't where anyone expected. It had drifted nearly a quarter mile from its original dive point, despite showing no mechanical issues or signs of interference. This single incident has sparked a broader investigation, drawing not only geologists but now physicists into the mix. Why? Because something deeper may be at play. Some researchers are now exploring the possibility of strange electromagnetic pulses or localized gravitational disturbances, phenomena that defy normal underwater dynamics. It's as if these vast sinkholes are creating invisible fields of influence that extend beyond their physical boundaries. Though there's been no official statement, highly specialized military personnel have been spotted boarding scientific vessels, members of an oceanic surveillance unit rarely seen in public view. Their presence suggests growing concern over how these anomalies could affect critical systems, global internet cables, satellite positioning, transoceanic communication lines. If the seafloor itself is shifting in ways we don't yet understand, it could pose a risk not just to the environment, but to the very infrastructure that keeps modern life functioning. Meanwhile, nature is responding in ways scientists didn't anticipate. Camera drones have begun capturing scenes near the larger sinkholes that are hard to explain. Rare and possibly unknown species of fish and crustaceans gathering in coordinated, almost choreographed movements. Some biologists describe it as hive-like behavior, these creatures responding to something unseen, possibly reacting to subtle heat, vibration, or acoustic changes emanating from the holes. Equally bizarre are sponge colonies found clinging to the upper rims of the sinkholes. They emit a faint bluish glow and contain elements rarely seen in marine ecosystems, trace minerals linked to meteorites or the Earth's deep mantle. These sponges are unusually dense at the cellular level, suggesting they've adapted to immense pressure over thousands, perhaps millions of years. It's opened up astonishing new theories. Have these species survived from a prehistoric era, or are they migrating from parts of the ocean we've never explored? Back on shore, the ripple effects are growing fast. Florida's maritime shutdown has jammed vital supply routes. These waters are more than just vacation hotspots. They're hubs for seafood, aerospace cargo, fuel, and commercial freight. With ports frozen, Other Gulf states like Texas and Louisiana are scrambling to pick up the slack, but the backup is already affecting agriculture, manufacturing, and shipping across the country. Prices are rising, shelves are slower to stock, and supply chains are under strain. Conservation efforts are suffering too. Key wildlife programs have been paused, including sea turtle and manatee tracking initiatives. Satellite data shows migratory species behaving erratically. Some dolphin pods have drifted far off course. Young sharks tagged near the Keys have gone silent, their signals lost. Whether they're fleeing seismic vibrations, temperature shifts, or disoriented by navigation changes, no one is sure. What is clear? The ocean's rhythms are offbeat, and marine life is struggling to adapt. The bottom line? Something vast is happening beneath the waves, something that's reshaping ecosystems, disrupting technology, and rewriting scientific assumptions. And for now, both nature and humanity are holding their breath, waiting to understand what comes next. Tremors. Beneath the blue. A hidden force. Rising in the Florida Straits. Farther south, deep in the Florida Straits, scientists aboard an international oceanic research station have uncovered a puzzling phenomenon: rising pressure in the depths of the sea. Using barometric sensors placed at intervals over 10,000 feet below the surface, they detected a pattern of pulsing shock waves, sharp, rhythmic bursts traveling horizontally along the seafloor. These pulses repeated every 47 minutes, uninterrupted, for over 3 days. Known as harmonic tremors, this type of seismic activity is usually linked to volcanic magma movement. But Florida is no volcanic hotspot. There are no known calderas, no thermal plumes. That's what makes this so strange and so alarming. Some scientists are now speculating whether we're witnessing the birth of a new fault system beneath the ocean floor. One that, over time, could trigger geothermal eruptions or even underwater volcanoes. The discovery has sparked a wave of global attention. Naval scientists from the UK, Japan, and Germany have joined US efforts to study the region. Satellites equipped with thermal imaging sensors now routinely scan Florida's waters, watching for heat shifts and sea level changes. Some areas around the sinkholes are displaying strange ocean bulges, subtle rises in the water, not due to tides or global warming, but something pushing from below. At research centers around the world, simulation models are working overtime. The worst-case projections? A collapse of Florida's western continental shelf. Such an event could unleash a massive underwater landslide and potentially trigger a mega tsunami, one that would barrel straight toward the southeastern coast of the United States. It's only a theory for now, but even the idea has prompted emergency planners to pay close attention. Yet the science is only part of the story. Along the coastline, a quieter emotional shift is unfolding. For generations, the sea has represented mystery, power, and continuity, but now it feels different, more volatile, more uncertain. Coastal residents report hearing strange sounds at night, low, haunting hums, or distant, muffled rumbles. Fishermen speak of dead zones, eerie pockets where no fish swim and the ocean feels, still as if it's holding its breath. In nearby indigenous communities, ancient stories are resurfacing, tales of the earth stirring from below to restore balance, to reclaim what has been taken. While these interpretations may not appear in academic journals, they reflect a deep ancestral intuition that something profound is shifting beneath us. The threat isn't limited to the ocean. Florida's freshwater reserves are also in the crosshairs. Inland aquifers, already under stress from overuse and saltwater intrusion, could be directly affected if the sinkholes reach deep enough to tap into these subterranean water channels. Hydrologists warn of reversed water flows, rapid aquifer depletion, or contamination that could jeopardize drinking water for millions in cities like Orlando, Fort Myers, and Miami-Dade. Engineers, too, are reassessing the state's structural resilience. Florida is filled with high-rise buildings, coastal bridges, and massive roadways, all built on ground now understood to be more fragile than once believed. The concern isn't sudden collapse, but a slower, more insidious threat: micro-subsidence. ground that subtly, steadily sinks over time, weakening foundations and threatening long-term stability. Insurance companies have already begun re-evaluating flood risk zones, not based on rising seas, but unstable earth. The hidden awakening beneath Florida's waters. What's unfolding off the coast of Florida may be far bigger than anyone imagined. Sonar scans from surrounding regions, the northern Bahamas, Cuba's northern coastline, and the Yucatan Shelf, are beginning to show eerily similar anomalies: strange depressions, unexplained temperature shifts, and gravitational irregularities. The evidence points to a sobering possibility. Florida's sinkholes may not be isolated. They could be part of a much wider regional shift, perhaps even the early signs of a massive tectonic reawakening. As night falls along the Florida coast, research ships linger quietly outside the restricted zone. The sea, often seen as timeless and still, now feels anything but. It stirs with something ancient, an invisible restlessness. These sinkholes are not random scars on the seafloor. They appear to be symptoms of a deeper transformation. The Earth, once more, is reshaping itself, not with earthquakes or explosions, but with slow, deliberate force. This could be a defining chapter in ocean science. What we're seeing is the blurring of boundaries between geology, climate, marine biology, and physics. Every sonar pass, every deep-sea sample, every small tremor adds another layer of complexity. And with each discovery, the realization grows. The foundations we thought were stable, both land and sea, are shifting beneath us. For decades, Florida was known for its beaches and sun. But now, the world is watching for something far less serene. Signals rising from the depths. These aren't just geological curiosities, they're warnings. Clues that the ocean floor is alive with unseen forces, and that the true edge of exploration lies not in the sky, but in the dark, pressurized world below the waves. What researchers are uncovering is unlike anything seen before. The area beneath the Gulf isn't just collapsing, it's changing. The sinkhole network is evolving, displaying behaviors that defy existing scientific models. In some places, the formations appear to pulse, subtle expansions and contractions that occur over hours or days. It's not metaphorical, it's movement. Slow and quiet, but measurable. Experts believe this may be due to pressurized water and gases moving through deep rock layers, inflating and deflating these cavities like lungs beneath the sea. It's reminiscent of how volcanic magma chambers breathe. Only here, it's water and geological stress shaping the seafloor. And then, there's what's being pulled up from the deep. One dive retrieved a strange, black clay-like substance from a freshly collapsed site. Lab tests revealed something unexpected. It was rich in rare heavy metals like molybdenum, rhenium, and thorium. These elements are typically found deep within Earth's crust, or even on distant planets. Their presence hints at mixing and movement that stretches far deeper than previously thought, possibly reaching into zones untouched since the earliest days of Earth's formation. Florida's ocean mystery deepens what lies beneath. Strange things are happening off the Florida coast, and the clues keep piling up. High above the ocean, drones and aircraft have picked up something unusual. Concentric heat rings forming around the sinkholes below. These glowing circles of warmth don't drift with the tides. Instead, they hold their shape, radiating outward in steady pulses, as if something deep beneath the seafloor is quietly releasing heat in a rhythmic pattern. Scientists don't yet know if this is the result of chemical activity or the early signs of a deeper geological upheaval. Whatever the cause, the discovery has attracted more than just geologists. Research divisions from NASA and institutions specializing in deep Earth modeling are now involved. The strange combination of thermal energy, geological shifts, and rare metals is starting to resemble the conditions found at hydrothermal vents in the Pacific, or even beneath the icy surfaces of moons like Europa and Enceladus. If Florida's ocean floor mirrors those extreme environments, it could provide crucial insights into how life might exist elsewhere in the solar system. But while some eyes turn to the stars, others are focused on the growing risks closer to home. The ocean floor near Florida is crisscrossed with vital infrastructure, deep-sea cables, fiber optic lines, and high-voltage conduits that support everything from internet traffic to national security. Many of these systems now run through zones restricted due to the sinkholes. If one of these unstable sites collapses unexpectedly, it could sever cables, disrupt energy grids, and paralyze key communication networks. In response, security forces have quietly escalated their involvement. Advanced underwater drones, once used for submarine surveillance, are now scanning the seabed with cutting-edge technology. These machines are equipped with laser mapping tools, magnetometers, and sensors typically reserved for military operations. The data they collect is being sent to secure facilities along the Florida coast for round-the-clock analysis. And that's not all. A new network of early warning sensors is being embedded across the ocean floor. Some are mounted on spires rising above the seabed, while others lie buried in the sediment. Their job? To detect even the tiniest shifts in ground movement, water pressure, or heat. This system, still being built, could eventually become an underwater equivalent of a seismic monitoring grid, tracking the heartbeat of the Earth beneath the waves. Meanwhile, in Florida's research centers and university labs, bold new theories are starting to emerge. One idea suggests that these sinkholes are the result of a colossal, slow-motion collapse that began thousands of years ago. Back during the last ice age, sea levels were much lower and parts of the current seafloor were dry land. Over time, acidic rainwater may have carved massive voids into the limestone bedrock. These ancient chambers, long buried beneath rising oceans, may now be giving way under pressure, collapsing like forgotten cathedrals hidden beneath the sea. Another theory points to deep underwater freshwater reserves, remnants of ancient river systems. If these aquifers are being compromised by rising saltwater or chemical changes, it could trigger a slow, cascading collapse. The unusual water chemistry, strange flow dynamics, and pressure shifts observed in the sinkholes all support this possibility. If true, it could also signal a looming crisis in freshwater availability. And while scientists study the data, coastal communities are already feeling the impact. Fishing zones have been closed, shipping routes redirected. Life in towns like Naples, Key West, and St. Augustine is on pause. With answers slow to come, fear and folklore are beginning to mix. Locals whisper of the sea reclaiming what once was land, of ancient forces stirring beneath the waves. For some, it feels less like a geological event and more like a reckoning. Even artists are responding. Across coastal towns, murals are appearing, depicting glowing ocean rifts, churning waters, and mysterious lights rising from the deep. These visual echoes reflect a growing awareness. For all our technological power, the Earth still moves in ways we don't fully understand. Florida's sinkholes may be a warning or a doorway into something greater.